Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network, brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. We come to you after the Jets' very professional 24-3 win over the Patriots. Yes, over the Patriots. So that finally has happened at home. So a big night for the Jets all around. We come to you on the Mike Francesa channel on the Bet Rivers Network on YouTube. And the word tonight is professional. I'm not going to spend a lot of time analyzing this game. The Jets got off to a good start. The offense was crisp. The quarterback did what this quarterback will do. That means distribute the ball, move in and out of the offense, get the ball down the field, make incredibly accurate throws that set up runs after the catch, and run the offense the way a great quarterback runs his offense. The defense doesn't have Johnson, didn't have Mosley, didn't need him tonight. Pats, who ran the ball very well the first 2 weeks in a close loss to Seattle in overtime and a win against Cincinnati, never got started tonight, never had the ball, never got the running game going, never got anything going, couldn't block. Their offensive line was overmatched. Forget all that. What this is about is the learning curve for the Jets. The Jets have to continue, and that's why last week was so important. That was a game off week one where they went and played as tough an assignment as you can get. San Francisco on the road, week one. They played badly, they lost. So everyone was same old Jets. Now they go to Tennessee, and they could have easily lost that game. They didn't because their quarterback wouldn't allow it. They get the win. And I talked about how important it would be to get this game, get 11 days off. Denver coming in, a very winnable game, a game they should win comfortably. But what this team has to learn to do and where this quarterback will take them is all the things they have to break and check off along the way. Beat the Pats at home, check. Win back-to-back games, check, check. Act like a real offense, check. Win a game comfortably that you're supposed to win, check. Win a primetime game in front of the world, check. And everything that Jet fans are not used to. They're used to being mortified. Look at their record in September under this head coach. They're used to being embarrassed. They're used to having no offense. They're used to being awful in prime time. They're used to going to the stadium and watching their team lay eggs. They have to get used to going to the stadium and winning. You listen to this podcast now before you go to bed, and you know what? It's after a comfortable win. Winning will become the norm for this team behind this quarterback. It's something that hasn't happened for this franchise in such a long time. So this is all step by step. Come off the loss in week one, win on the road in week two. Come back, get back-to-back wins. Win a game comfortably you're supposed to win. Do it tonight. Now get 11 days off, get Mosley back, hopefully not have any real change on the offensive line with 11 days rest so that they get their right tackle back. They start to integrate some of the newer faces onto the defense. Denver comes in. If Nix is still a quarterback then, which I think he probably will be, he doesn't get the ball down the field. They're not throwing the ball down the field. They don't challenge. They're going to win very few games on the road this year. Jets can get to 3-1, which I talked about after that first loss. Win these next 3 games. Then comes Minnesota and an old friend in Sam Darnold in London. And then the week later comes the big game. Buffalo, Monday night, at home. Hopefully for the Jets at 4-1. And playing for the division lead, playing to establish yourself as a real playoff and division title holder, a contender for the whole thing this year. But it has to start step by step. And you saw it today. You saw the growth today, you'll see the growth continue under Rodgers. Today, he got the ball to more people. He got the ball to the tight end. He obviously is expanding the offense as they go forward. They weren't spectacular tonight. What they were was professional. They executed. They ran the ball okay. They made some. I mean, the passing game was good. He was 27 of 35 for 280. He missed very few passes. He was very accurate. Had 2 touchdown passes, runs after the catch. Didn't have to do much in the second half except run the clock and utilize the field position. Play the game because they knew New England couldn't move the ball tonight. And that's exactly what they did. Clearly, using the tight ends is important. Allen will become a bigger factor probably than any of us thought in the running game because of what he brings in short yardage. Of course, he also can catch the ball. Hall's going to get plenty of action, both as a receiver and as a runner. But having 2 backs is the way to go here. If one gets 15 carries, the other one gets 10, that's fine. That's fine. Allen's going to be a factor here. I don't think there's any question about that. We know what Hall can bring. Williams is going to be a factor. But more than anything else, it's about the Jets throwing off all that baggage and learning how to win, learning how to be professional, learning how to win when you're supposed to win, winning when you're expected to win, being able to execute your offense on a weekly basis, being good week after week after week. This is all things that are second nature to Rodgers. But they're anything but second nature to the Jets. And that's what you saw tonight is what everybody has hoped he would bring to this franchise. Exactly what he's supposed to bring to this franchise. Now, do I get a little nervous when he runs around? Yeah. Did he move well tonight? Yes. I thought he was very accurate in Tennessee, so I didn't make a big deal about his accuracy. I know how accurate he is. I've told you before, he's the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen. Nobody is more accurate than he is. His anticipation, the way he works things in his head and then gets it done. Now, he might miss a pass now that he didn't miss 5 years ago. Well, that comes with age. Is he as good as he was in his, prime at Green Bay? No. But you know what? 80% of that or 90% of that is plenty. More than enough to win. And it gives the Jets, and the Jets' schedule is conducive to them getting the start they need. 3-1 imperative. They'll get that. I would be shocked if they don't get it against Denver and get it comfortably. Get to 3-1. Go play a game in London. They win that game. They're 4-1 with Buffalo straight head. No longer is it about Salah's ineptitude. No longer is it about the Jets can't win in September. They can't score in the first half of games. They're an embarrassment offensively. They're an embarrassment in prime time. All those things. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. One by one, they're thrown away. One by one, they're discarded until it's Jets' legitimate contender. Are they that yet? No. One step at a time. One step at a time. Tennessee was step 1. Tonight was step 2. 11 days from now, Denver will be step 3. Hopefully Minnesota's step 4. And then you try to take the big step. The step that will stamp you to the entire league well before Halloween. Hey, here are the Jets. But we'll get to that when we get to Buffalo. And Buffalo is going to be right there. Miami, They've already lost their quarterback. They're a mess. They're 1-1, but they're a mess. It's about Buffalo. It's about the Jets. And it's going to be fascinating to watch this develop. Now, I still think the defense needs more bodies. And I still want them to get Reddick here. Or trade Reddick and get something and go out and make a deal to get yourself another player in that front seven. I understand everyone's going to start to sing the praises of McDonald as he starts to pile up these sacks. They need more. And again, Salah's strength has been his ability to turn secondary defenders into contributors. Can he do that now? You saw a little of that tonight, but again, this was a badly overmatched offense tonight. Their offensive line was awful. They got off to a bad start, and they got behind a couple of touchdowns, and they're not built to do that. And they never had time to throw the ball tonight. I thought they would get the ball to the tight end a lot, but they never really even had the ball tonight. They never even got down in distance tonight. They really were never in the game offensively. A lot of what the Jets faced Monday night against San Francisco, the Pats faced tonight against the Jets. They just never were in the game offensively. They never had the ball. They had the ball for 11 minutes when the Jets had it for 35. Jets had run 65 plays when they'd run 24 or 25. I mean, so this was a mismatch in that regard. It wasn't about that. It was about not only winning the game tonight, but winning it in a way that, again, dispelled some of those tags that have followed and hurt and weighed this franchise down for so long. They started to throw those shackles off one by one. Threw one off in Tennessee, threw a couple more off tonight, throw a couple more off against Denver, another one against Minnesota. Having the ability to get in the end zone game after game, having a quarterback who performs game after game after game. That's the key. Having an offensive line that works, that will get better as it gets more cohesive. Offensive line has taken a step forward. That's why he didn't like that injury time. But again, didn't look that bad. One step at a time. And that's what this is about more than anything else. It's about stability. It's about professionalism. It's about understanding and expecting to win, not to lose. Fan base, it's a new experience for them. When they sit in that stadium, to go there, and they used to just go there and hope that they weren't going to be just completely mortified by what they saw. And more times than not, they were. And there were so many scenarios under which this team could not win. Now, it has put back-to-back performances together. Just another day at the park for a four-time MVP and a future Hall of Famer, for an immortal quarterback. But for this franchise, which he now leads, it's a very new experience. And that's why these weeks are important. Jets played 3 games in 11 days. Not easy to do in the NFL. They did a lot of travel. They opened with 2 weeks on the road. Had to go to the West Coast, lost. Had to come back, go to Tennessee. And to tell you something, Tennessee's defense was pretty good. I'll be interested to see how it plays the next 2 weeks, because the first 2 weeks it played well. And if it wasn't for their quarterback, they could have won both games. They should have won the Bear game, week 1, and they easily could have won the Jet game. Will Levis threw that game away starting in the end of the second quarter. And his coach has been hard on him. I don't know how, as a kid, he's going to handle that. We'll wait and see. But that has cost them dearly. But their defense looked very good. The Pat defense tonight was just completely overmatched. They could not do what needed to be done against Aaron Rodgers. Now another winnable game. The Jets' schedule is not tough this year. It's conducive to them having a good season. And if they can stay healthy and keep the offensive line healthy and keep that left tackle healthy and keep their quarterback healthy, this team is going to win double-digit games. And they have ability. They've taken a couple of hits on defense already. The Reddick thing's a big hit. Johnson's a hit. Mosley, I don't know how long he's going to be out. Sounds like it's not as bad as we thought. Still a hit. They have to develop some depth on defense. Reed back tonight, that's a positive. You're seeing some guys start to step up, McDonald, Clark, etc. The penalties are a problem. Tonight, another over 100 yards of penalties. 100 yards of penalties is a touchdown. That's an old Parcellsism. 100 yards of penalties is 7 points. That has to stop. I thought the penalty against Sherwood was a nonsense penalty. I really did. But they still commit too many stupid penalties, like the one on the punt return. I mean, on the punt coverage was a terrible, just a ridiculous, selfish penalty. That stuff's got to stop. But you're going to forget about Salah. You're going to forget about his awful record. You're going to forget about their inequity and their inadequacies. And all you're going to be thinking about is, hey, now we expect to win. And that will come quickly. It's now 2 games in a row. A week from Sunday, should be 3. And then we'll see where this takes us. One other thing I wanted to get to. Tomorrow I want to tell you that we'll be up on the Mike Francesa channel, on the Bet Rivers Network, on YouTube tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock live with our Football Friday program, with everything that goes with that. Remember to download the Bet Rivers app for all of your needs, whether you want to play the Squares game or whatever else is going on, or follow the baseball. Mets win again tonight. Yankees lose. Orioles won, so the Yanks are 4 up as we head into the final 10 days of the season. Yanks are in Oakland starting tomorrow. Tigers have now pulled even in the wild card with Minnesota. Kansas City and Baltimore are the other 2. Mets just continue to win, flexing their muscles, hitting homers tonight, but we'll get to that. I can tell you, dating back to when I was still on the Fan, there was always a lot of debate about whether Eli Manning should be a Hall of Famer. And I am here to tell you, first of all, I tell you in all candor, I do like Eli Manning a lot. He and I have always gotten along very well. I think he's a terrific guy. He's handled everything so well in his career. He's always been incredibly unflappable. He's had a lot of success since he's left the field. But I believe he's a Hall of Famer, and I'll tell you why. What you want out of a quarterback is stability, consistency, and an ability to win games when they're there. Now, he was incredibly durable his entire career, which is a positive. He's in the top 10 all-time in passing yardage. He's in the top 10 all-time in touchdown passes. He's in the top 10 all-time in completions. He played a long time, and he didn't miss a lot of games. His record in the regular season is 500. It's 117 and 117, but that's because his last 3 years the team was awful. It went like 9-26 or something like that in his last 35 starts, which took him from being 15, 16 games over 500, which is a significant amount, to 500 in those last couple of years. But clearly, his longevity, his leadership, his durability, the class he played with, all are positives. The fact that only one player in NFL history has ever taken his team as a quarterback and put them in the lead with a touchdown, either put them in the lead or tied with a touchdown from behind in the fourth quarter, more than Eli Manning. Eli Manning did it 44 times in his career. He took the team from behind in the fourth quarter and put them in the lead 44 times in either overtime or regular in the fourth quarter. The only guy who ever did it more in the history of the league was Drew Brees, 45. Eli's 44. But the significant thing is, the really significant thing is we pay guys off when they take their game and they raise it, when they have those golden moments where they can deliver championships. And he not only did that, he twice brought his team from behind in the fourth quarter against what we know was a generational dynasty. Once an undefeated team that a lot of people thought at the time might be the best team of all time. What did he do? He took the Giants from behind in the fourth quarter of that game and won the game. What did he do the other time he played that same team and that same quarterback? He brought his team from behind in the fourth quarter and led them to the winning touchdown and a championship. There are 6 players in the history of the National Football League who are multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Obviously, Tom Brady. Obviously, Joe Montana. Obviously, Terry Bradshaw. If you go back, you know in Super Bowls 1 and 2, the great Bart Starr won the MVP of Super Bowls 1 and 2. Brady. Montana, who is the greatest Super Bowl quarterback of all time by a mile, statistically. Bradshaw, who was 4-0 as a starter and led his... Twice the defense won the games, twice he won the game. And, of course, Starr. Mahomes has done it. And Mahomes, if he never plays another down of football right now, goes to Canton. If he never plays another down right now, he goes to Canton. So he's the 5th. The 6th is Eli Manning. 4 are not only Hall of Famers, they're immortals. Starr, Bradshaw, Montana, Brady. Mahomes is on his way to being an immortal. The other is Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, who both times brought his team from behind against the generational dynasty and once against the unbeatable, undefeated team. He trailed both games in the fourth quarter by 4 points. In one game, he made a pass to Manningham, which was one of the great plays ever. In the other game, he made a play that many people think might be the greatest play ever made in the history of the Super Bowl. But more than that, he was 10 of 15 for 118 yards and led the team to a touchdown that Bradshaw scored to take the lead. In the other game, a game I will never forget because Archie sat right behind my wife and I at that game in Arizona. Sat right behind us. So I was able to converse with him the whole game. Because I was sitting in the loge with my wife, and he was sitting in the first row of the luxury box, which butted against about the 5 rows of the loge. And we were in that 5th row of the loge, around the 45-yard line, and I could turn around and talk to him the whole game. In that game, in the fourth quarter, he went 9 for 14 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Think about that. Against the undefeated Pats, in maybe as big an upset as we have seen. He went 9 for 14 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns to win the game in the fourth quarter. So in those 2 fourth quarters, he went 19 of 29 for 270 yards from behind. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. When you are that good with championships, and I'm not even going to get into what he did in the other playoff games, down 14-3 in Dallas, the incredible drive, winning on the road in Green Bay, winning in Dallas, winning games that they weren't supposed to win. But these were 2 Super Bowls. Where is the New England dynasty if Eli and Coughlin didn't stop it? And I'm not taking anything away from the Giant defense in either one of those games. But we're talking about Eli and his performance. The Giants had to score to win. They weren't winning going into the fourth quarter of the game. They were losing. And he brought them from behind both times. And tell me, what else could you want from a quarterback than that? To lead his team from behind, which he did so many times in the regular season. And he was not blessed with great talent around him in his career. And his career without these 2 Super Bowls wouldn't be a Hall of Fame career. I admit that. But that's not the case. The case is he is one of 6. And in both those games, his play in the fourth quarter wasn't good. It was brilliant. That's why he is a Hall of Famer without any doubt. Important night for the Jets. A step in the right direction. An important step in the right direction. There are others to take, but still, 0-1 has now become 2-1. And tell me, did Rodgers put a smile on your face tonight? Time and time again? Whether you were in the stadium or watching on television, I guarantee you he did. And I guarantee you he will continue to. We'll talk to you tomorrow.